Jay-Z is winning in court, and it looks like he's going to help out his friend Diddy as well. He's going to take down the lawyer who's trying to represent all of Diddy's accusers. And maybe there's a world where Jay-Z's reputation is restored and Diddy is now walking free. So let's get into it. Someone in Hollywood is working their magic because accuser drops their R-word lawsuit against Jay-Z and Diddy. Now, we did see Kanye recently advocating for Diddy to come home, so could you imagine if Kanye somehow used some of his powers in whatever world he has power still to go and work this? I mean, that's just my conspiracy mind going. The reports say that a lawsuit against Diddy and Jay-Z, which alleged the R-word of a 13-year-old girl in the year 2000, has been dismissed. Keep in mind, this is the same suit where allegedly Jennifer Lopez's name was brought up. Alleged, you heard that. Tony Busby was representing this Jane Doe, and it turns out that she voluntarily withdrew the lawsuit. I don't know what this means. Could it mean a private settlement? Could it mean someone had reached out to her and convinced her to just take this lawsuit out from under Tony Busby's hands?
Houston attorney Tony Busby has dropped a lawsuit against Sean Diddy Combs and Jay-Z tied to an alleged rape of a 13-year-old girl that allegedly happened at the MTV Music Awards back in 2000. In a statement released just minutes ago, here's what Jay-Z said, in part, quote, "The civil suit was without merit and never going anywhere. The fictional tale they created was laughable if not for the seriousness of the claims."
Now, I want to refresh your memory because at the beginning of this lawsuit, Jay-Z did not seem like he had a lot of control. We were getting kind of messy statements from the Rock Nation Instagram account. And I do feel like this statement came in part from him, probably vetted through some attorneys. But I also feel like he really thinks like he's the man, he's the boss, he's going to get it done. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if he was able to get this done and to get this case thrown out, not only for himself, but his buddy Diddy. Now, why would they go and throw out Diddy's case? I mean, couldn't they just go theoretically remove Jay-Z from it? Well, I think like if something did occur and Jay-Z was in fact there, it would probably be safer just to kind of eliminate the case in general instead of trying to replace this person who was in this story for this victim with maybe someone else who's not implicated. The filing was submitted by lawyer Tony Busby, who's representing dozens of plaintiffs filing lawsuits against Diddy. Because it's now been dismissed, it looks like the dismissal is with prejudice, which means the lawsuit cannot again be refiled in its current form. So if it were to ever see light again, it would have to be altered a lot. Now, because it was dismissed with prejudice, this has a lot of implications. And I actually found a TikToker who broke down what this means and how it could be more telling to this story and potential allegations. And I think also the position that Jay-Z is in as clearly one of the most, if not the most powerful person in the music industry.
Tony Busby voluntarily dismissing Jay-Z and Diddy's lawsuit with prejudice, like, speaks volumes to me. No, to voluntarily dismiss something with prejudice, that means that those claims that Tony Busby alleged on behalf of that plaintiff can never be brought again, never. And so what that means to me is that, like, clearly there was something very, very wrong with the claims. And then that means to me that I'm going to have a hard time crediting Busby with other things, because it's like, if you didn't vet your plaintiffs well enough when you know they're going to be under crazy scrutiny. So check one box for the win for Jay-Z and Diddy.
Imagine this, you've been in an accident or someone you love has been seriously hurt. Suddenly you're facing a mountain of medical bills, paperwork, and insurance companies that don't want to pay what you deserve. Now, what if I told you there was a simple solution to this nightmare? Getting compensation when you are entitled to can be tricky, with many personal injury firms giving you the runaround, drowning you in paperwork and settling for less than what you deserve. But it doesn't have to be that way. This is where Morgan & Morgan steps in. win. As America's largest injury firm, they've modernized the entire process. With over 1,000 attorneys across all 50 states, they have the resources to take on big insurance companies and give you the money you deserve. And trust me, they don't settle for lowball offers. Just this year, they secured a $26 million settlement in Philadelphia, 40 times more than the highest insurance offer. And there are plenty more stories like that. You could just fill out a simple form in minutes. No appointments, no complicated paperwork. Everything is done from your phone. Plus, it's totally free unless you win. Morgan & Morgan makes the process easy and stress-free. You can head over to forthepeople.com/Sloan. You can also find that link in the description below to get started. Remember, the process is free unless you win. Thank you, Morgan & Morgan, for sponsoring this video, and enjoy. There is so much change in our day-to-day society and how people view predators and victims and things like this, and I do question if this is going to change how Diddy's case is going to go. Roc Nation, the entertainment company founded by Jay-Z, put out a statement saying the dismissal is a victory, that it was frivolous, fictitious, and appalling allegations. This civil lawsuit was without merit and never going anywhere. The fictional tale they created was laughable. It is not the seriousness of the claims. It's just the fact that he claims he could never be a part of something like this. Jay-Z's attorney Alex Spiro emphasized in a separate statement that the case should have never been brought. Quote, by standing up in the face of heinous and false allegations, Jay has done what few can. He pushed back, he never settled, he never paid a red penny, he triumphed and cleared his name. This past December, this accuser, Jane Doe, gave an interview that raised questions about her credibility. She admitted that not all the facts are clear and stated, I have made some mistakes. I may have made some mistakes identifying, which, well, damn, how are you gonna identify like Jay-Z and make a mistake with that? I mean, I'm not gonna like discount her trauma if she had gone through this, you know, but definitely interesting people to mistake.
After the alleged rape, she says she ran to a gas station where she called her father, who picked her up and drove her home.
We rode home in silence. He didn't ask me what happened. He didn't ask me what I did or where I was.
In an interview with NBC News, her father said he could not verify the claims. Quote, I felt like I would remember that, and I don't. I have a lot going on, but I mean, that's something that would definitely stick in my mind, he said. When we asked the woman about the contradictions in a phone interview on Friday, she said that she stands by her statements. I have made some mistakes, she said. Honestly, what is the clearest is what happened to me. The inconsistencies in her account of an incident alleged to have happened 24 years ago does not necessarily mean the allegations are false.
I mean, I'm not going to sit here and act ignorant. I don't know who this Jane Doe is. I don't know her life. Her father doesn't remember this night. She barely remembers this night. I mean, come on. At this point, in my professional Sloan opinion, whatever I'm doing over here, I would just kind of move on from this case and focus on actual accusers who do have like actual evidence that they're ready to. And I'm not saying she's not an accused. I don't know her, but I'm just saying, like, you know, this is kind of a bad case to get a lot of press because now it casts a shadow over all of these accusers. Like, are we going to forget about the Cassie video and the hotel and things like that? And imagine how many more people who were harmed by Diddy in that way. We don't know about Jay-Z. This comment reads that Tony Busby opened a 1-800 line and fell into his own trap of lies and money grabs. This law firm should be charged the money taxpayers spent on this frivolous case. Another person writes that Tony Busby has a lot to answer for. This young woman lived in Rochester, New York, and her father said on TV he doesn't remember picking her up by car in New York City, which is quite a distance. I mean, I would remember if my child called me from hours and hours away and was like, hey, can you come pick me up? And I had to go and make the trek to go there. Another comment reads, if Jay-Z doesn't file a defamation lawsuit worth at least half of what Busby's net worth is, you know he paid for it to go away. And that's a big question here. I mean, again, we don't have any evidence of this, but if like, it's interesting to see like Alex Spiro or Jay-Z bloat about winning this case where there is a world where could have they like paid this person off, and now they're acting victorious, and Tony Buzbee sitting here like, something's not right. So I don't want to jump to any decisions yet. Clearly, I don't think this accuser has the story straight, but I also don't think it would be a wild idea that if someone offered to go and get rid of this story, or to have them go and dismiss it on their own accord, which is what we saw. Now, after this case was thrown away, Diddy's team decided to chime in. They put out a statement saying, "For months, we have seen case after case filed by individuals hiding behind Jane Doe's, pushed forward by an attorney more focused on media headlines than legit merit. Just like this claim, the others will fall apart because there's no truth to them. This is the first of many that will not hold up in a court of law." But Jay-Z isn't done with Tony Buzbee yet. He is out for revenge, especially because he claims that Tony keeps coming after him. Jay-Z is going out of his way to expose Tony's alleged attempts to get large sums of money from him over 2 allegations, one of which was dismissed and another that never ended up in court. Jay-Z claims that he received 2 demand letters in November 2024, one from this Jane Doe, the 13-year-old at the time that we had spoken about, and then the other one was for a John Doe, who, according to the letter, claimed that Jay-Z had harmed him at a 2015 Beverly Hills party when he was 16, and they had been secretly drugged by someone other than Jay-Z. Jay calls both of those allegations false and ridiculous in every aspect. The John Doe allegation was not previously heard about. Jay says Buzbee's letters for both clients demanded something of substance to address the situation, which Jay interpreted as a demand for money, which if this is true, Tony Buzbee, that's extortion. He also describes these letters as a blatant blackmail attempt. Now, this is where it gets messy, because in these documents, Jay's actually accusing Tony of filing this lawsuit against him on the eve of Blue Ivy's Hollywood premiere for The Lion King, that he did that intentionally to really, I guess, mess up the headlines, to, oversaturate it with Jay-Z content, especially in reference to this case, to give himself, his firm, and this accuser more press. He says it put him in a difficult position, having to choose between supporting his daughter or hiding to avoid negative press coverage. And I believe he was there and present. So, I mean, good for him for showing up for his kids. Back in November of 2024, Jay actually filed a lawsuit against Tony Buzbee for extortion. Later, he revealed he was the one who sued Tony, and Tony tried to get it dismissed. These new documents are Jay's effort to keep the case alive. He's insisted all along that he would fight Tony Buzbee tooth and nail in court to restore his good name. He says he reviewed the demand letters as an existential threat to my reputation, my career, my family, and everything else I've spent my life achieving. So he's not going down without a fight. Although his Jane Doe has now dismissed her lawsuit, Tony Buzbee doesn't sound like he's backing down in the war with Jay-Z, telling us we expect that lawsuit, which is frivolous and will be dismissed. So I would be scared, Tony, to take on, Buzbee, but he's also been taking on Diddy, so clearly he doesn't care. We also have this past allegations where Tony Buzbee was accusing Jay-Z's team of cash apping people money to speak out against him. So there are some shady things on both sides, which is why we're going to be here to report on everything. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in a new one soon. Bye, guys.